And now, before I introduce Anne, the leader of the Westmount Poetry Group, I wanted just to share one story about this group. In March 2020, when the pandemic started, all of the events at the Westmount Public Library went halted, like most things did around the world. However, the Westmount Poetry Group, the week later, connected on Zoom and continued to meet weekly on Zoom, way before many people were doing anything on Zoom. And I was truly moved at that point. I was moved by how quickly this group of people and this community of the Westmount Poetry Group connected virtually right away. And I just think that it was a pretty inspirational moment for me to see that. And so I'm so glad that we were able to continue, and that we have the poems that we're going to hear today. So with that, I'd like to pass it on to Anne Lloyd.
Hello. Well, we've been going, I think, for something like 10 and 12 years. And it happened very unexpectedly, and we've not left. Nobody's left. So all the poets now are much better than I am. So it's a different thing. And what we do is we come up with themes, and then we go away and we write to the themes, and we come back, and it always surprises us how varied everyone, all the variations that people come up with. And it's made us very content in a way. And a couple of weeks ago, we lost a very, very special man called Bert Gilman. And it was his son, Eric, who brought us into Zoom and into the 21st century, because we're all Luddites. And so I'd like to, there was a poem of mine that he liked very much. So I want to read you that poem, and then I shall pass it on to the last poem that Bert wrote. And that was during when someone came up with the idea that we write a poem to our favorite poet, an ode to our favorite poet. So, you know, along came Shakespeare, along came Pablo Neruda, along came loads. And when it got to Bert, along came Dr. Seuss. So I think that was a fine thing, and that is what John will read. But I'll read you the poem that he liked of mine. It's called Life's Diurnal Round. The parents tell the children, stop. You really, really should not do this or that, not to mention the other. You shouldn't dare to hit your brother. No, you can't ride your bike to Bangladesh, you little pest, or go to a rave or dirty text. Look at me when I'm talking to you. Stop twittering or I'll twit you. Chorus. Where were you last night, by the way? I phoned and phoned. Where did you stay? I called the police. You'd gone away. Then you turn up the very next day without a word to me, to us. No, I'm not yelling. I'm not making a fuss. Watch it, or we'll make you stop at home and never let you go out at night again alone. We want to know where you are each minute. You really are the absolute limit. And now we come to 50 years later. Now, where is that boot? Now that boot is sadly on the other foot. Although adult in the children's eyes, the parent now has become the child. Now children tell their parents, that's enough. You really, really should not eat sweet stuff and munch on this or add salt to that. And watch where you walk or you'll go splat. And why are you still sailing now you're 80 and flirting with that siren who is 70? You really should be more discreet. Stay indoors, avoid the heat. No, you can't still ride your Harley. Sit down and eat your barley. You shouldn't walk out in the rain. I told you once, I'll tell you again. You'll catch your death of cold. Remember, you are getting old. And the chorus again. Where were you last night, by the way? I phoned and phoned. Where did you stay? I called the police. You'd gone away. Then that you turn up the very next day without a word to me, to us. No, I'm not yelling. I'm not making a fuss. Watch it, or we'll put you in a home. We can't trust you living here alone. We want to know where you are each minute. You really are the absolute limit. Where is your cell phone, your ID disc? Tut, 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 tisk, tisk, tisk. You're behaving like a naughty child. Mother, you once were mild. Now you're wild. You never used to be so headstrong. Just where, oh, where has that come from? And now Jean will read Bert's Dr. Seuss poem.
Bert titled this poem, A Would-Be Poet's Poet. I make no excuse for being obtuse. I nixed Mother Goose and chose Dr. Zeus. I'm sorry. Okay. Cause phonological awareness of word structures and sounds advances taught reading readiness in great leaps and bounds. Doc made us reject peanut butter and jam in favor of once over green eggs and ham. Wrote a trusted manual of what one should do if he or she were chosen to run the zoo. Lions and rhinos running wild on the loose, and no one can accuse us of animal abuse. But amidst the chaos, there are barrels of laughs from polka dot monkeys and blue-green giraffes. While driving to the zoo, our front tire went flat. Who better to fix it than the cat in the hat? But what makes all this so very neat is that it began on Mulberry Street. And now I introduce you to Barbara Sala.
Thank you, Jean. My poems today are the voices of animals. The subject for the group was to write about the theme about a horrible moment. And my poem is the following. I am a beaver. I am a beaver. I have two big teeth. I devour everything that disturbs my sleep. Algae and grass cling to my skin. A mouse on a lily pad tickles my chin. A fallen branch of sturdy wood, I weave its leaves into a book. High above the moon licks my sleepy face. I gulp him down, green I am glazed. A blue wave pushes me down a waterfall. I forgot to breathe. I surfaced later and was eaten for breakfast by the alligator. Excreted, he left me in the low-lying land. My nose unharmed rose out of the sand. This is a chatty poem written by a friendly beaver who had two big teeth and wrote this story in his sleep. Thank you. And now I introduce you to Bena.
Yeah, thank you. I was inspired by the theme if and the choices we make in life. If I have turned a frown into a smile, if I have phoned an isolated friend, if I have soothed an offended person with a kind word and a hug, if I have forgiven those who undermined me, if I have loved unconditionally, then my life, with all its hurdles, is a gift. And now I will introduce the poet, Bill.
12 months ago, even as COVID was insisting on changing our social interaction, there were still those who were pushing the limit. I sit and wonder, what's this scourge that keeps us asunder? Spring is here, the weather's no longer austere. We'll sit in the sun, apart, not near, exchanging a glance, while maintaining prescribed distance. So watch and hear the silence, trees rustling in the breeze, blossoms scented, delicate elegance, making mock of virulent disease. But I've missed my barber, snipping locks to make me dapper. Appearance in town, no laughing matter. A gentleman's obliged to show unostentatious neatness and style, maintaining couth all the while. Follows summer. What a bummer to keep this separation a time of vacation. Tent sleeping, mosquitoes cheating the dictate, the mandate, no touching, no hugging, just overbugging. Off, off, damn gnat, enough of that. Hie you hence, you've taxed my patience. It's safe to say, damn it, you've pushed the limit. Touching and biting's forbidden, in it? Thank you, and now I'd like to introduce Catherine.
Thanks, Bill. Little things. Leonard Cohen sang, "Funny little things can make my day, and then silly little things can take all the joy away." A brilliant red cardinal at the bird feeder today, then ridiculous comments from Trump who thinks he should stay. A bright, glorious sunrise calls me outdoors to play. Little things like a phone call or email from a dear friend can change a mood with good vibrations and much love to send. When we open ourselves to the little things that life can lend, then happiness and gratitude are just around the bend. And now I introduce Derek.
Little delay there. We were set the task of coming up with a poem under the shadows and veils. So this poem is called The Mystery of Poetry. Just what is poetry, you may ask? For the poet, a daunting task. Taking patience and time, seeking out words that rhyme, concocting a unique literary landscape wherein the reader's mind can escape. Like salivating hounds, poets know no bounds. Mysteries that science and religion fail to uncover is but fodder for the poets to discover. They peer behind shadows and veils, blowing one away upon verbal sails. It's what they reveal that has unique and enduring appeal. Embracing sadness, humor, and satire, it will be difficult for poetry to retire. However, if this poem does not meet with your approval, then its author should face poetic license removal. No mystery here, just poetic justice. And on now, I hand you to Catherine.
Hi, it's Helene.
Oh,
That's
sorry,
okay.
sorry.
Thank you. So this poem was written at the end of last summer when we were homebound and traveling in our own backyards, and it's called Passports. Put away the passports and all those dreams of far off places, dreams of exotic beaches and ancient sites. They are all quiet now. They are there for our dreams. Enchantments of mountains and markets, delectable flavors and colors so vivid, blues so rare, whites too bright, mustard and fuchsia and grass green. We are quiet now, and in this quiet place, we fly and soar over continents and savannas, quenching our thirst on iced tea made in the kitchen. And in the backyard, we find contentment as we listen to the birds and the crickets chirp. No passports needed. Thank you. And now I present Jane.
Hi. This poem is called The Worst and Best of Times. It was written in January, in the worst month and in COVID, but we were encouraged to look at the past and understand the best of our lives and the worst parts. So this is the worst and best of times. To not know what's happening, to wake up in the dark, soft beeping noises, machine by my side. Snow falling gently as I make my way home, dark trees around me, a breath in my arms. Surprised to count breaths in increments of 3, getting there, past it, thank God. Somehow understanding on my way to 2. To have argued for a 3rd and one more, the pitter-patter of 6 little feet. Thank you. And the next poet is Janet.
Yes, this is a poem written during the pandemic, which has been going on a long time. It's called Cheers, but it's more of a rant. Haven't I won a place in the sun, worked hard all my life with joy and strife? I'm now an old fart who once took part in a tranquil revolution. I did my bit for Quebec's evolution. My independence is vital for life to be livable. I still have a choice, but do I have a voice? Yes, I'm older, it's true, than many of you. Still active and healthy, I feel quite wealthy. Now COVID is here, with less freedom, more fear. Social distance is safer, but what a pain. I self-isolate, must at home remain. I'm not allowed to help or volunteer, see friends or family who I hold dear. I also live in sadness and dread of seeing one other virus spread. Call me old, elderly, senior, or wise. Ageism is a schism, whatever its guise. Who needs a push for a speedier demise? If I should want help, a bit of home care, will essential services still be there? I'll accept assistance, but be resistant to all displacement and care home placement. Of one last thing, be absolutely certain. I want to stay in my home where memories roam until the final curtain. Thank you. Now over to the next poet, Jean Carrière.
I imagine that the theme must have been when, because that's the title of my poem. When a due date is coming and you're not ready, like when you try to compose a poem the day before the day when your peers expect to hear it read, then of all the weekdays, Monday is the day you dread. When you put off doing your taxes till the last day, and when it serves no purpose to ask for delay, when you're faced with the cost of what lies ahead, then of all months, April is the month you dread. When you have attained the age of life's last season, it serves no purpose to regret what might have been. And when whens and ifs are all in the past, then your poetry may be the only legacy to last. So let a friendly censure be the fate of this dawdling poet who's always late. And now I introduce you to John Thomas.
Thank you, John. My poem is called First Love, Last Love. I wrote it last year in the middle of the pandemic. First love is youthful poetry and all that raunchy sex. I feel like Percy B. Shelley and Tyrannosaurus Rex. Last love is seasoned poetry, mature and thoughtful sex. I feel like Leonard Cohen and, hey, he swallowed my Viagra, bad dog Rex. Sorry about that. Gwyneth was my first love, unless I include my dog. And when she let me touch her cute little bra, I hadn't been so excited since I learned that tadpoles became frogs. I gasped to think what lay down there, covered by her knickers. Could I touch it? Could I smell it? Could I taste it? Oh, please don't make me shiver. Now it turned out that I wasn't the first, nor the worst by far, to delve in that delectable cherry that on a fell, oh the hell, to that jerk my cousin Terry. When I grew up, still in pursuit of those magnificent breasts and cherries, I learned of another organ, just as cute, the female brain. But please be wary. It can control all of your sex, where, when, how and why, and beware of that menstrual cycle if you don't want to die. Now I'm mature in life and loving, and I think about last love. Surely last love must be current, as to Mother Nature, Father Time gives a shove. To that ultimate tragic moment when one of us will leave this earth, and I'm 50% sure of my chances to end up my wife's bloody spoiled cat attending to its purse. Thank you. Next one up is Judith, the beautiful Judith, will now do her poem.
Hello. The theme was a toast. So this is my toast. Here's to the boys that take away my garbage, that stinking pile of rotting rubbish. Indeed, I'm drawn to pay them homage for loading the crap, that putrid waste that weekly I put in front of my place. The runner's energy boggles my mind, swinging the cans not to leave stuff behind. The driver, skilled at stopping and starting, keeps an eye on the street for whatever might stray in the path of the truck, like kids at play. These are the boys whose toil is impressive, though their status in work is oft thought less of. They are essential to a consumptive lifestyle, so may they keep running mile after mile. A toast to the brave men that work in sanitation. I salute each one of you across the nation. And now our next reader is Ludmilla.
Hello, thank you. The theme for my poem was memories. So here it goes. The chorus weeps. Remember, remember, the chorus weeps. Hold to your memories. Hold to them as long as you can. Memories. Band-aids for wounds of loss. remember, remember, the chorus weeps. Keep the happy past alive, all dear people you lost, all good moments you had. Keep them in bright light as long as you can. Hold to tears of your broken heart, they will keep you alive. Band-aids for wounds of loss, memories. Remember, the chorus weeps. Remember, remember. Thank you. And the next poet is our friend, Mary.
Thank you. My poem is also a toast, and I'm inspired by the animals that we see on the highway, leaving Montreal, going north into the Laurentians. So it's called We're in This World Together. I raise a toast to woodland creatures, porcupines, foxes, skunks, and deer, who scurry across country roads, always fearful, taking a gamble, looking for a nesting place on the other side. I celebrate you who make it, away from cars, into the woods, across the fields. I hope you get across the road. I really do. We need you to. We're rooting for you. Woodland creatures, I toast you. Thank you. Now I'd like to pass the poetry torch to Paula Petticelli.
Thank you, Mary. This poem is on the Camino I walked a few years back. It's called The Journey of No Return. It was a journey of no return, not physical, but in spirit, I mean. So much to experience, see, and learn. Anxiously, I prepared for it. Strolling shores, climbing hills. What was it that I yearned on that journey of no return? Early one September morn, 13 seekers prepared to cross the Rubicon, unsure they would return, whole, fragmented, certainly without renown. It mattered not, for their souls did burn, anticipating pilgrim paths walked by those whose faith so fervent, searching for that elusive form on that journey of no return. Crosses, cairns, arrows are only guides. Following them was quite a test for that infinite traffic of humankind. Lunch and dinner are only rest. Each pilgrim chose her unique stride, alone or with a partner by her side. I chose silence as my companion on my journey of no return. Thank you, and I pass you on to Rita.
I'm unmuted. Okay. Our theme was on poetry a while ago, and it's on Corkscrew Swamp, which is a protected wetland north of the Everglades. Its name derived from a winding river that used to empty into the Gulf of Mexico. And okay, Corkscrew Swamp. When shadows cast a darker eye, and I cannot clear sight this world, I take myself beyond the fray and spend the day in Corkscrew Swamp. With no forethought of man's onslaught, the bitterns gather in the marsh. The egrets thrust their rippling necks like dinosaurs on twig-thin legs, and strapping cypress sucked down deep, spread willow feet near sculpted knees. My eyes take in the fecund mass, the water world of marshy grass, where tree and reed and seagrass grow, where what's above is cast below. There is no mark to say earth ends or where the mirrored world begins. Among the flowering pickerel weed, a myriad of tiny insects swim. And in blue pools reflecting sky, ghost clouds float by, unlimpid grim. I soak in all this paradise of birthing earth, of primal life. For one brief moment, I'm aware the world has folds beyond despair, and all my troubles disappear. And now I pass you back to Anne.
Right. Yes, so this is how we're doing it. We're giving you one poem and then taking a big breath and starting all over again. And I'm going to read a poem about a friend of ours who died at the beginning of the COVID of this month. And she was the one who came up with our name, the Westmount Poetry Group. And she was very assiduous, and she made us time ourselves and be very correct. And she was loads of fun. Anyway, I've written a little poem to her. She filled my days with laughter and my walls with rampant dragons. She called us the matinee girls as we matineed all over Montreal, coffee, sipping at the second cup, matineeing at McGill, the movies, the Rialto, Place des Arts, and Westmount Library. I had to learn her phone number by heart, because that's what BFs, best friends, do, she said. And so I did, and then fate, of course, changed it. But BFs, best friends we were, and the fun days we had together at the WPG and anywhere and everywhere will last for me forever. And thank you, and I shall now carry on to Barbara.
Thank you, Anne. This is now the second part of our readings. The subject for this poem was What's for Dinner? And I have the frogs talking. What's for dinner, mon amour? We sat on a rock near the lagoon. Boats quietly sailed close and away from the beach. Grasshoppers jumped from grass to grass. Hungry gulls swallowed the hoppers fast. You see, it's dinner time, mon amour. So what will ours be? Roasted tadpoles, honey-coated caterpillars, prickly grasshopper salad, and steaming dandelion tea. Bon appetit, mon ami. And now it's Bena's turn.
Yeah, thank you. My poem is an ode to William Wordsworth and my interpretation of his wonderful poem called I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud. Your poem touches my heart and soul as you share your loneliness and spirituality. Your imagery awakens introspection in everyday miracles that elevates life and offers hope. Thank you. And now I'll introduce Bill.
On this Remembrance Day, I sat beside a stream. The ripple running gently over shallow shelving, not undulating, rather riffling, dimpling black static smoothness, unstopping in its search for equilibrium. Inevitable tilted passage winding bow on bow, over current hidden deeper. with gusting breeze disturbing perfect reflections. The silence emphasizes soft sounds and hides the urgent cacophony man makes at war and work each day. Listen intent to secrets, the river and the wind in the treetops, whispering truth. We said in vain, never again this November day. We failed our future. We will never learn. And now it's Catherine again.
Ode to Bob Dylan. Brand new leopard skin pillbox hat. The brand new leopard skin pillbox hat from Dylan's bootleg series, Cutting Edge. So superficial and unlike his protest songs, a delight to an ex-fashionista on the ledge. He wonders how a head feels under something like that. A brand new leopard skin pillbox hat, as ludicrous as Dr. Seuss's Cat in a Hat. A brand new leopard skin pillbox hat. And hey, Mr. Tambourine Man, play a tune for me in my brand new leopard skin pillbox hat. An image of your harmonica sliding below the hat, jingle jangle sounds, both harmoniously sharp and flat. As he had seen his life come shining from the west onto the east, likely not released in a brand new leopard skin pillbox hat. Like a complete unknown, like a rolling stone, he wonders if he steps on it, will it go flat? That brand new leopard skin pillbox hat. His girlfriend's lover tries on the pillbox hat. Infidelity, not the issue, but the pillbox hat. Whatever would the Nobel Prize Committee think of that? And I pass on to Derek.
Thank you. Our topic that was set for us was thanks for the memories. And so this poem reflects memories of a kid who was brought up in the suburbs of London post-World War II. Memories we most relish must never ever perish. No shortage you will lack, just cast your memory back to your childhood days, so simple in many ways. Remember when mother, with no iPhone, would yell from the porch, "Come home," as you played your it and hopscotch in the street, your earthly paradise where friends you would meet, or in the park, high on swings, then climbing trees, with mother to the rescue, attending to bruised knees. Recall those summers where play would be running through the garden hose spray, dashing around like buffoons, the ultimate weapon, water-filled balloons. Then there was your turn to walk the dog. Oh dear, he sniffed out a hedgehog. On the home front, any task I was willing, if it meant I could earn at least a shilling. Garbage out, cut the grass, do the dishes, earnings I would spend on my wishes. Now, if we clean our bedroom mess, Mum will let us listen to the wireless. Children's Hour was our favourite programme, kept us quiet as we snacked on toast and jam. Our screen time was a once-a-week delight, Saturday morning pictures to see cowboys fight. So too laughs at Looney Tunes and other funny cartoons. After being well fed, it was finally off to bed. Read fairy tales to ponder, leaving innocent minds to wander. And so it's finally night, night, sleep tight. Thanks for the childhood memories. I hand you over now to Hélène.
Thank you, Derek. I also have a rant, which is called, Who Says You Can't Teach a Dog Old Tricks? Some say I'm just an old bitch. Yeah, I may be a witch, but here's the hitch. There's a glitch in this thought. May seem kitsch, 'cause I still got the itch. You don't get to tell me what I can't do. I'm old, I'm bold, in these years of gold. And if the truth be told, I'm smart, got a heart, open. I'm fit, got grit, don't give a shit. No platitudes for this attitude. Got wit, won't quit. That's what I call spirit. I'm not gonna lie, there ain't nothing I can't try. Well, maybe diving from the sky. That'll end when I die. So don't tell this old dog what I can't learn. Not your concern. You wait your turn to be old, to be bold in these years of gold. Thank you. And now I pass you to Jane.
Hi. My poem's titled Homage to Pablo Neruda. I read Pablo Neruda in Spanish, and then from the same little book, I read him in English. And that's because I love the way it sounds in Spanish, and I don't actually speak Spanish. So this is my poem to Pablo Neruda. No matter how much I mangle the words, no matter how much I slaughter the rhythm, it's all sex to me. Thank you. The next person to read a poem is Janet.
Thank you, Jane. We were asked to write an ode to a poet, and I chose Félix Leclerc. The elderly poet sows words to the wind. His phrases furrow the frozen earth. As the sun awakens the spring, his rhythms flourish, burst forth with life. A young man hears their music in the air, filled with love of family and home. High in the sky, the clouds scatter, like rosaries whispering with life. Touched by tender green couplets, moved by their fragile rhymes, he weeds out imperfect verbs, invents verses vibrant with life. From the depths, he harvests the fruit of imagination. Language breathes once again, the landscape infused with life. As his roots draw strength from the master's work, nurtured by this fine heritage, a new poet is inspired for life. Thank you. Now on to Jean Cavier.
Thank you, Janet. I hope my voice will be up to the task. The title of my poem is A Day Without Drink. Barman, I've been all day without a drink. My throat's as parched as the desert sand. My nerves are frayed and I'm on the brink. I'm so dry my eyelids squeak when I blink. My legs shake and I stagger when I stand. Barman, I've been all day without a drink. My stomach rumbles when like a gurgling sink. My body's a desiccated mess and my nerves are frayed and I'm on the brink. If you serve me water, I'll raise the stink. Anything but liquor would be too bland. Barman, I've been all day without a drink. Beer bottles dance in my head and I think, how a tall, cold, quick one would be grand. My nerves are frayed and I'm on the brink. Have pity on this thirsty old brigand and serve whatever plunk you have at hand. Barman, I've been all day without a drink. My nerves are frayed and I'm on the brink. And now for John Thomas.
Thank you, John. Very great voice you have, my friend.
I've been all day without a drink.
This poem I wrote for my very beautiful wife. It's called A Near Villanelle for My Real Exquisite Danielle. What a woman. What a wife. Oh, how beautiful is our life. Euphoric time so filled with bliss will always be so cherished. Oh, how I love the sweet memories of our life's delights. Words of wonder, poems tender, stories that so excite. My wife is the reader non perennial, who I'll always revere. What a woman, what a wife. Oh, how beautiful is our life. Quiet times soothe the soul, creative juices flow, ignite. Create a path to hidden thoughts, explore together. Paradise. Oh, how I love the sweet memories of our life's delights. She charms with a smile that could dazzle the world, sees the great light. Her intelligence sparkles like the Milky Way. She is a sensual goddess. What a woman. What a wife. Oh, how beautiful is our life. And wisdom exudes wherever she flows, solves issues, many plights. And wit shines like the bright sun's rays, and my love, ordered gold. Oh, how I love the sweet memories of our life's delights. My wife's glorious beauty is divine, warmth through to the bone. Happiness radiates through every pore. She is my wonderful home. What a woman, what a wife. Oh, how beautiful is our life. Oh, how I love the sweet memories of our life's delights. Thank you. And here she is again, looking even more beautiful, is Judith.
Thank you, John. The title of my poem is called On the Rocks. A summer day stretched out on smooth rocks. How beautiful it is. I go back in memory to explore that place again, that Laurentian scene. Cool water lapping toes, sun and water, I repose. Wellness after swim. I doze on the rocks. Sweet dreams are those of youth, not knowing what's to come. And our next reader is Ludmilla.
Thank you, Judy. We were supposed to choose a proverb and get inspired by it. So I have chosen a proverb: God's mills grind slowly but surely. God's mills grind slowly but surely. An ancient proverb to be believed and tested by those yearning for justice, by those suffering, by those dying being wrong, by those punished for truth, by martyrs everywhere. God's mills are too slow for fallen soldiers, too slow for people perished in gas chambers, too slow for scientists burned and stoned, too slow for those being shot for color of their skin, too slow for battered women, too slow for starving children, for martyrs everywhere. God's mills grind slowly but surely. An ancient wisdom do we still believe? Does belief overshadow despair of powerlessness? Don't crave a revenge, but don't believe and wait. Raise to a challenge and do what you can for someone, somewhere. Thank you. And I think my friend Mary is ready to read her
Thank you.
poem.
Thank you. This poem is linked to Kipling's If, the iconic If, and I've thrown out so many words. This is what we're left with, and it's called An Old Couple's Love Letter. And I'll start. When you gather boots and stick to walk and breathe fresh air besides, when you wear your hat against the cold with new red scarf and old black gloves, I stop a moment with a shot of love. I admire you, for you are bold. When I spot you in the night in the kitchen with your book and tea, when I hear you step outside to gaze at stars and marvel at the nightly moon, the moon that gives a chill, for when we will be memory, and I will search the stars and ask the sky for news of you. Thank you. I'd like to pass it on to Paula Petticelli.
Thanks, Mary. We were asked to identify a member of our group that most resembled a character in the Canterbury Tales. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present the Franklin sitting at our night's table. Bi-weekly, 16 meet, that is a plan. Our night's round table sits Eros, the man, sporting a hat regardless of season, a festive fellow, life he does seizes. Wearing a pale complexion, white as milk, slow and almost murmuring he does speak. Recounting tales of his youth, his yesteryears, including one of Suzanne's, Leonard's dear. His stories long, his accent abstrusest, sensual in food, ale and women the surest. Sanguine by nature, he lives for pleasure. No monk is he, but a good storyteller. Thank you, and here comes Rita.
Okay, thank you very much, Paula. And this is another take on Thanks for the Memories. Thanks for the memories. Which ones I cannot say, for what is played in my old age may have in some way strayed. My favorite dog was Spotty, and Brownie came before. Or was it little Trixie? I really can't be sure. I'd have sworn I loved Terry that I kissed behind that tree. But maybe it was Mike instead, my fading memory. I tried to plant a lamp chop bone, to grow a lamp chop tree. My sister challenged me on that. Not you, she said, but me. What memories are vivid, what I think I may recall, may only be a partial truth or not have been at all. And again, back to Anne.
There we are. And that is that, folks. This is our poetry month, I think 12 in 12 or 13 years. So I hope you enjoyed what we've done. And let's hope that next year we shall be in the Elizabeth at the Westmount room or anywhere rather than on Zoom.
I have a concluding poem for Daniel.
Oh, on, Derek.
This wouldn't have been possible without a very clever gentleman, namely Daniel, behind the scenes, who's been coordinating all this. So we put together a short little poem to honor his assistance. Who needs a Zoom operator's manual when at the helm we have our Daniel? Against lions in a den, he's biblically declared brave, but now he must fend off computer glitches in a domestic cave. With a mouse at his fingertips, he can mute loose lips and configure our faces in proper screen places. So thanks to cyber puppeteer Daniel for pulling our strings and rendering our poetic efforts with public wings. Thank you so much, Daniel. Really appreciative of your handling.
Oh, and thank you very much, Derek, and everyone, all 16 poets, and Anne for being the leader of the group. Such a nice way to start a Sunday, or I guess end the morning of a Sunday. But and I want to thank everyone who participated. We had over 60 people, and from what our poets mentioned, from across the world. So it's been so fun, and thank you. I see some people sending their congratulations in the chat, so thank you very much. And hopefully next April, we will be back in the Westmount room serving pastries at our annual poetry and pastry. And maybe, you know, at some point in 2021, the poets will be back in the Westmount, in the boardroom in the Westmount Library. And we're really looking forward to that. So thank you everyone for participating. Happy Poetry Month. We forgot to mention that at the beginning, but April is Poetry Month. So I hope that this was inspiring to everyone, and maybe some people will start writing some poetry who haven't before.